Hi, I'm Tom Miggott from Tom Miggott Photography. I did not plan on making this video today, I must admit, but following up on the announcement that I've made yesterday with regard to this month's photography contest on the Tom Miggott Photography Club, and the theme is Macrophotography, one of the French members asked the group a question. He wanted to know what's the difference between macrophotography and proxy photography. Well, I had to Google the term myself because I've never come across it. But now I've read about it and I've decided to make a video to share that insight with you, but also to amend the rule for this month's contest. So let's dive in Lightroom and I'm going to try to explain you what this concept is of proxy photography. What you see here is one of the photographs that I've taken several weeks ago when I've done this video about cheap macro photography using a reverse ring. These are butterfly eggs on a banana leaf. In reality, each egg has a diameter of about 1 millimeter. And as you can see, here is much bigger. This is macro photography. I've used a reverse ring and there's a ratio of, I don't know, maybe 10:1, something like this. I don't know, probably bigger. And remember, when we start talking about macro photography, technically, we consider macro photography when the ratio between the size in real life and the size on the medium, whether it's the film or your sensor, is 1:1. So 1 centimeter in real life will take 1 centimeter on your sensor or film. Here clearly it's been magnified. Clearly it's bigger than 1 millimeter on my sensor at the time, so clearly this is macro, a macro shot. Another example as well of macro, here it is. That's an ant. It's been hugely magnified, as you can see the hair on the legs. So what does that mean for proxy photography? Well, proxy photography, I don't know if that's actually an official term, to be honest with you, is a combination of two words. It's proximity and photography. So basically it's still taking pictures of tiny things and make them bigger. It all comes down to this. But the ratio now, they consider between 110 and 1:1. So anything that would be like 120, 140, that would be classic photography, nothing special. Soon as you start going between 110 and 1:1, that's proxy photography. When you start going beyond 1:1, like 2:1, 3:1, 4:1, 10:1, that's macro photography, huge magnification. So as an example, I have this picture here that I've taken on at the same location as the butterfly eggs. This is a toad, and that was shot using my telephoto lens. It's a Tamron AT200. And although it does say on the lens macro, it's not real macro because the maximum ratio you can get is 1:4. That falls into what they call proxy photography. But clearly, it's still magnified, right? But it's not technically macro photography. It all comes down to this. And clearly, if I wanted to make a macro shot of that toad, the toad was rather small, but it was quite big. So too big to have a ratio of 1:1, because if I start doing 1:1, then I have to select a particular part of the body of the toad to have this ratio of 1:1, because it's too big. Even the eye would actually be too big, right? Compare the eyes to those butterfly eggs that I had. The butterfly eggs were 1 millimeter. Imagine if I use that same ratio with that toad. What am I going to have? The eye by itself is already bigger than 1 millimeter. It's going to be huge. So, does proxy photography make sense? Absolutely. I'm going to show you another example. Look at this picture here. We have two butterflies. We have a bee on the left-hand side, and we have that great flower. That was shot with a bridge, Panasonic at a time. Maybe I've used the macro mode. I don't know. But it's a built-in lens. So it's not a true macro. There's a macro mode that basically relies on using the zoom of the lens plus enable you to focus while you're close to the subject. But it's not a high magnification. And I didn't want to have a high magnification because I want the scene. I want those butterflies bigger than in reality, but I still want to be able to see the whole thing. So this is proxy photography. Another example of it is this flower. This is proxy photography. I could have used the macro lens and go crazy in the magnification, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted those leaves. I wanted the whole flower itself. And it's much bigger than if I just did, you know, a regular shot far away from it. So it is proxy photography. So here you go, folks. You have your answer as to what the difference is between the two of them. Personally, they call it proxy photography, some call it macro photography. I put everything in the same bucket and I call it macro photography. It all comes down to taking pictures of little things, making them bigger, and let you appreciate how nature is made and seeing and being able to see things that you would not be able to notice in real life. So going to the contest this month. If you do not have a macro lens, if you do not have a reverse ring, if you do not have extension tubes, you can still do macro photography, proxy photography. You will be accepted. So post your images. You do not need to have a ratio of 1:1 to post your work. Until then, this is Tommy saying, if you like it, well, capture it, even if they call it proxy photography. Ciao.